Thank you, Jerry. Awesome. Okay, so this is exactly why Greg and I basically developed SEPTA 3, because we can see the importance of external environment on our internal behavior, internal emotional feelings, well-being, health. So this is exactly why we published basically our iteration of SEPTA 3 in 2019. There's a QR code if you want to download this article for free, and also another article that we published last year that kind of also then elaborates on this new theoretical foundation and the principles that go into basically SEPTA 3. And yeah, so I said external behavior so importantly influences internal. Another reason why we decided to develop SEPTA 3 or third generation crime prevention through environmental design was also because there's so much new research that basically happened over the past 10, 20 years. So much advancement in neuroscience, also psychology. We understand how environmental psychology influences our behavior. There's the environmental crisis. We know that there's been so much talk about also the 15-minute cities and those kind of behaviors, how we plan cities. So all that thinking influenced our development. And we came up with the 4S principles. So we said we need to focus on sustainability, and not just in terms of environmental sustainability, but we need to think about long-term well-being of our communities, of our places, of our neighborhood specifically, because we kind of frame this within the neighborhood. So we talk about social sustainability, economic sustainability, environmental sustainability, and health sustainability. And only briefly, I want to just kind of showcase what we mean by each of the principles. So when we talk about public health sustainability, this is a lot about basically providing infrastructure. We were talking yesterday how much the environmental design, planning policies influence the way our neighborhoods are built. So having opportunities to move around, to walk around, having access to fresh produce. We also talk about, Jerry was talking about adverse childhood experience tests, so this is very important to actually identify the issues very early on, and then being able to help with some protective mechanisms, those individuals who are at potential risk of becoming basically potentially even criminal, some of them, right? Or at least, or get into problems with their life and so on. So we need to be able to help them. And then emotional intelligence, which is also part of our training in safe growth that Greg mentioned, so kind of community development type of approach when you work with communities to help them in terms of well-being and also safety development. And livability academies are also a way of bringing people together where they learn self-awareness, where they learn the techniques, how to work with one another, because we need to know how to cohabitate, how to work together, how to, especially if we want to work towards better in our communities. So the livability academies are a way of increasing that self-awareness through emotional intelligence, learning how to work together, and also developing leadership skills. So that's public health sustainability. Then we have social sustainability. So here is focusing a lot on people. So when we design places, yesterday we also heard in the keynote that how important it is to focus on people, not on just buildings when we design cities and plan, devise master plans and so on. So people have to be at the center. And then third places, many of you might have heard, so places where people come and unintentionally maybe meet and bump into one another, develop relationships and so on. So this is very important for a healthy relationship within the community. It builds social cohesion, collective efficacy. Then community organizing, local governance, so we need to be mindful of course, ethics, equity, democracy. So when we talk about neighborhood development, safety within the neighborhoods, people need to work together, but we also need to respect that there's diversity within many of our neighborhoods. And safe growth programming is where we kind of incorporate lots of these concepts. And then economic sustainability, this is about having local economy, not relying just on external sources of income, but actually build own resources so that the neighborhood actually develops jobs and the money actually stays within the neighborhood, so they can reinvest that money within the neighborhood. So, for example, we have an example of a Holy Grove market up there. You can see a photo that was actually after Hurricane Katrina in the Holy Grove neighborhood of New Orleans in the US. They actually developed their own marketplace where they would sell, grow and then sell, and also, of course, provide some other type of produce and fresh food for their own people, and people from outside the neighborhood would also come. So all the money actually stayed within the neighborhood. So that's amazing. And then the last one is environmental sustainability. So this is about micromobility. So those little scooters that people like to use, electric bikes and regular bikes. So being able to come to places quickly without having to always rely on cars. We know about 15-minute cities. The big development that started in Paris. So I think many cities are actually imitating that, where you can walk or use some of those micromobility options to get to places, so you don't need to drive. Urban greenery, we know about the green, kind of the heat effect as well. So lack of greenery is actually very problematic, but it's also it's been linked, all this stuff that I'm actually talking about has also been linked to kind of stressors within the neighborhood, people not having access to resources. So it provides sense of sometimes also frustration and then aggression, which can lead to crime. Or we know that, for example, greening vacant lots is also very important, so that they are not then taken over by some use that we don't want to necessarily there, like drug dealing, for example. So all this actually leads to crime, and prevention of crime, of course. And yeah, so basically this is why we think that we need to kind of have this new way of thinking, not really relying just on a reductionist approach where we say this is a strategy, you need to put lights here, you need to get this installed here and so on. We need to make sure that the approaches are integrated. So our SEPTA 3 basically integrates SEPTA 1 and SEPTA 2, because if you don't feel safe walking around the neighborhood, which you can achieve through some of the SEPTA 1 principles and SEPTA 2 as well, then you're not going to be able to, for example, be healthy or want to socialize with your neighbors and similar. So we need to make sure that we kind of think about places, and especially our neighborhoods, more holistically, that we plan our cities in a holistic way, and make sure that, yeah, the people, we bring back the neighborhoods to people, basically. So this is what SEPTA 3 is all about. It's about also creating highly livable neighborhoods, and not just the basic neighborhoods that provide those basic level needs. We want to make sure that people satisfy higher level needs, higher level desires, and also increase high livability levels within our neighborhoods. So this is us. If you want to reach out, contact information, but that is it from us. So thank you very much for your attention.